Hey, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing today? So Netflix released this movie, Message from the King, recently. Got a chance to watch it. Overall, it's a pretty good movie. However, I do have to say there are some things about it that are just way too familiar, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. It's kind of like when you own a 10-year-old used car. It's got some rust, it's a little bit beat up, and then you go to buy a new car, and that new car is the exact same make and model, only it's got less miles, less rust, and it's got a way better sound system. Basic plot of the movie: Chadwick Boseman is playing a South African who comes to Los Angeles, and he's basically there to find out what's going on with his estranged sister because he hasn't really been in contact with her very much, and he doesn't know anything, so he's trying to find out if she's alive or dead, and if she's alive, then where is she, and who do I gotta talk to? So he essentially beats the answers out of a bunch of people to try and find out what's going on with his sister, and that's pretty much the movie. And the first thing I'll say is that plot that I just described to you, it's not the most original plot in the world. Like, it's very reminiscent of, like, you know, a Taken or, like, Ransom or Kill Bill or The Crow. In other words, we've seen this plot quite a few times in the past. The only other negative I have is the fact that Chadwick Boseman is basically playing the real-life version of Black Panther. He's from Africa. He basically has almost the exact same accent that he does in Captain America Civil War. He's a man of very few words. His last name is King, and he knows how to fuck people's faces up. If that doesn't reek of an alternate timeline for Black Panther, I don't know what does. Now, that doesn't mean that Chadwick Boseman did a bad job. He did do a good job because, you know, he's a good actor. But was his character a little bit too familiar, and did it take me out of the movie for a little bit? Yeah, it kinda did. The only other negative that I have in the movie, and this is like super minor, but anytime Chadwick Boseman says yeah in his accent, it sounds really fucking weird for some reason. And there's a couple other line deliveries from other characters that are pretty much the exact same thing. It's like one word, but it just sounds weird. I don't know why that is. It was like a really random thing that happened several times throughout the movie, but I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Aside from that, though, I'd say overall the movie was pretty fucking entertaining. First of all, it's got a really interesting cast. Obviously, you got Boseman, and then you got Luke Evans, Alfred Molina, and Tom Felton. Tom Felton's not in the movie for very long, but he does a really good job in the few minutes of screen time that he has. And I thought the music was really good for like maybe like 90–95% of the movie. The movie had a really good pace to it. Like, it had a lull and then you find out new information, or like a lull and then an action scene. Like, I thought it was really like very consistent pace throughout the entire movie. All the fight scenes are pretty good. Like, the fight choreography was good, and this movie is overall just generally pretty well directed in my opinion. One thing that I thought was impractical but I didn't have a problem with was the fact that Boseman's character uses a bike chain to beat the shit out of people with, and I couldn't help but thinking in my head that that is like such a bad idea. Because A, it's a bike chain, and if you use that as a pair of brass knuckles and you start punching somebody, your knuckles are basically not gonna exist after you're done with it. And on top of that, bike chains generally have like some type of slick or oil substance on them, so it's just like your hand is basically turning into a cesspool for infections at that point. But despite that, it just looked badass and it worked well for the movie, so I gotta give it a little bit of credit, you know? But anyway, overall, guys, I'd say there's some things about this movie that are a little bit too samey, but the overall narrative and the story was very well executed, even if it's a story we've seen before. So I think based on all that, I'm gonna give it a 7.8 out of 10. Anything above that seems a little bit inappropriate, considering it's a plot that, you know, most people are pretty familiar with. But it's not a super long movie, it doesn't pussyfoot around, it gets right down to business. It's a pretty fun ride, even if it's a ride you've been on a few times before. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Have you seen this movie yet? Have you even heard of it? Hop in the comments, let me know what's up. Other than that, if you like this review, give me a like, subscribe, do all that other bullshit, and I will catch you guys later.